Hey, welcome back to Pro Gain Knowledge. My name's Ben, I'm a current undergrad student, and I'm here today talking about the positive feedback loop of learning. So, positive feedback loop, what is that? So feedback is broken up into two categories. There's positive feedback and negative feedback. Negative feedback are things in which the result inhibits the starter. So like in your body, you have blood pressure, your blood pressure's low, your body does things to increase your blood pressure. That high blood pressure cuts off the signal that was initially sent to raise the blood pressure, right? That's negative feedback. The outcome limits the starting process. Positive feedback is the opposite. The outcome feeds back into the starting and increases it. So, sounds kind of weird. We're talking about like physiology, what's going on? That applies to learning. So I get a lot of questions. People asking me, you don't spend hours and hours cramming for exams night before and that kind of thing. Why not? It's because I've trained myself to learn a little bit differently. So what I want to introduce you to is positive feedback loop of learning. So curiosity here is your new superpower, right? When you're curious about things, you're engaged, you're wondering, you're coming up with new questions. All of that's what they call the active learning. And you've probably heard about that more than just reading a textbook. When you're really curious about something, you're going to learn more. But being curious is only part of it. So when you're curious, that's going to get you to be more engaged, right? You're going to ask more questions. You're going to read deeper. You're going to look up a separate video. You're going to be trying to connect things in your head on your own, coming up to your professors being like, hey, is this how this works? And they're going to be like, no, not quite. You're missing X, Y, Z, right? When you're engaged, you're going to learn more. Every time. You're going to learn more being engaged than not engaged. And learning is fun. Everyone seems to agree that homework sucks, right? Studying for an exam can be kind of annoying. But that moment when something actually clicks, when you actually really get it, is so rewarding. It's so much fun, right? And you get more of that. That's the best part about this whole thing. When you change your mindset and you allow learning to become a little bit more fun, you reframe how you think about this, right? The class goes from being drudgery and, I have to do X, Y, Z assignments, to a little bit more of like, okay, maybe homework's still not my favorite, but I can do this, it's blah, 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 I know what I'm doing. It's not that bad. I'm interested in the class, so I know this is gonna get me closer to where I wanna be. You gotta get interested. And then when it's more fun, it's easier to do the work. It's easier to do homework because you're interested. It's easier to study. It's easier to go to office hours. And when you go to office hours, you actually have something to ask because you've been coming up with questions because you're like, I wondered when you're sitting in class. And when it's easier to do the work, you're obviously going to get better results, right? What I really want you to think about here is it's not so much about grinding through tons and tons and tons of hours being miserable to get you the results you want. School is not exactly a linear hour to result basis, right? There's waves in it, there's growth. And if you really just focus on how you learn and focus on making the whole process easier and more fun, it'll shorten the number of hours you need to get those results because you'll enjoy it more. Think about like a sport, right? Let's say you're a competitive swimmer or something of that sort. If you hate swimming every single day, it's your least favorite thing, are you gonna get better if you do it every day for a year? Absolutely, of course. But you'll have to do hours and hours and hours that you'll hate, and it'll be miserable and awful, and you'll probably only get a little bit better because you don't really love it. The greatest athletes are those who really love the sport. You have to be dedicated, right? So you can do the same thing with your academic success. You can change it and make it more fun. Now, obviously, there's going to be the occasional class you really just don't like that you have to take. That's part of college, right? Get through it as best you can. You can check out some of the other videos on what to do about that or how to take a difficult test. But if you can reframe your learning as a whole to be more about engagement, curiosity, and making it a little bit more fun, you'll get better, and you tend to like the things you're good at. So it makes it even more fun, because then you become more confident, you become better at it, and you start having bigger questions. And that leads you to being curious. So curiosity is now your new academic superpower. This is Pro Gain Knowledge. I'll see you guys next time.